Hello everybody and welcome to this video on postmodernism for A-level sociology. Postmodernity, according to postmodernists, refers to the era we now live in, which began in the late 1970s after the modern era. French philosopher Foucault was a key postmodernist thinker who wrote about post-structuralism. This was an idea that criticizes all structural sociological theories such as functionalism and Marxism that argue that society is structured by institutions, class, race, hierarchies, and other structures. Postmodernists claim that these structures are no longer relevant, not accurate, and do not reflect the breadth of fragmentation, variety, and choice that now exists in the postmodern society that we live in today. Globalization. Globalization has been a huge factor in bringing in the postmodern era. The access to cheap flights to travel throughout the world and access global information via TV, internet, radio, and more lately smartphones has broken down old meta-narratives and allowed people to access a wealth of culture, food, music, languages, ideas, customs, and fashion that was not available during the modern era or pre-modern era. Postmodernity is identified by three key features. 1. Increased diversity and choice has led to much more tolerance of so-called others and individual choices of lifestyles, and we now see this in the LGBTQ rights movement and in the subsequent debates it fires off in the media and among other left-wing commentators. It has led to huge movements such as pride, national referendums, and law changes such as marriage equality. 2. Increased hybridity, meaning the merging and assimilating of cultures as people move from country to find work and settle into a new culture or form new hybrid cultures. An example I like to think of here is the British speciality dish, the curry chip, which is a merging of cultures between Chinese and Indian food with traditional British food, giving us the wonderful curry chip. 3. The influence of globalization on crime, culture, family, health, beliefs, and identities. One of the greatest examples of globalization at work recently was the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic, which originated in China but within 3 months had spread worldwide, and we all remember it well. The countries who coped better with the initial stages of the pandemic were those who closed their borders and insulated themselves from the disease. But not for long, as all countries now depend on global trade and relations, and the disease eventually entered just about every country. Sociologist Lyotard believes that people have now developed incredulity towards meta-narratives, meaning that they no longer blindly believe that there is one truth. This is now evidenced as many sources of information are challenged, and we can see it in news coverage from US elections or the war in Ukraine, where there is no agreed one angle on a story. We find endless examples of this in our news lately, such as the confusion and the variety of interpretations of the Partygate scandal in Downing Street, the Irish Sea border issue in Northern Ireland, where certain groups protested, but the Secretary of State and Prime Minister denied that a border existed at all after they established it. The diversity of opinions means that there is no one-size-fits-all solution to societal problems, and that solutions must be small-scale and detailed rather than large, sweeping, conclusive, universal truths. Baudrillard talks about the breakdown of communities as society becomes more individualistic. We have become confused and cannot tell the difference between reality and hyper-reality. Ideas and images from Facebook or Instagram have given us a false idea of reality. But these images and lifestyles that we see on TV and social media are not real, and often don't reflect our reality in our lives in rural Ireland, in the UK, or wherever you may live. He argues that overexposure to media has helped create hyper-reality and leaves people no longer knowing what is real. We see this now with the anti-vax information in the COVID-19 pandemic and the vast misinformation surrounding the current Ukraine war, leading people to question reality. There is no longer one reliable narrative. There is a lot of evidence for postmodernism. There is greater diversity in family and personal lives now. There is emergence of hybrid cultures. There is greater diversity in sexuality, relationships, and appearance. Impact of globalization on education, global crime networks, beliefs, such as the New Age beliefs, and much increased media saturation that now follows us everywhere on our phones and other devices that are being developed, such as the metaverse. Evaluations and criticisms of postmodernism for your essays. So to pick up some of those AO3 points that we need to be able to evaluate postmodernism, and while there is some strong evidence for it, there are also legitimate criticisms such as postmodernism ignores power, inequality, and the ongoing ruling class domination of many aspects of society, such as media, education, banking, and politics. For example, according to Marxists, the media and education still work in favour of the ruling class. Another criticism is, do people actually absorb these media images and programs as reality, or do they see them as mere entertainment? Many people do question what they see and can tell the real from the hyper-real. Structures in society still exist. They have become more diluted than they were in the past, but structures in class, gender, ethnicity still persist, and may even be widening as the gap between the richest and the poorest becomes wider each year. Ongoing debates about white privilege and class divisions show that the old structures are still relevant and have not been fully replaced by postmodern diversity. Conclusion. In conclusion, there is a lot of evidence to support postmodernism. Like all sociological theories, it does have strengths and weaknesses, as well as some legitimate criticisms that we have just discussed. Our job as sociologists and our task in A-level sociology is to understand these differing views and criticisms to apply evaluation in our essays. This video on postmodernism for A-level sociology. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe for more upcoming content. Thank you.